Listen to my voice, singing in the wind. Feel my gentle touch in the golden sunlight. I was born to love. Kiss your tears away, banish all your fears. Fill the world with joy. I am woman of the earth, spreading love and joy, fun and laughter. Woman of the earth, making miracles forever after. Loving, caring, working, sharing, teaching, singing, mothering. See my loving glow in a blushing flower. Watch my dreams take wings over sky so blue. I will save the earth and its every glory. I will teach my child every golden story. I am woman of the earth, spreading love and joy, fun and laughter. Woman of the earth, making miracles forever after. Loving, caring, working, sharing, teaching, singing, mothering. Woman of the earth. I am woman of the woman of the earth. I am woman of the woman of the Listen to my voice, singing in the wind. Feel my gentle touch in the golden sunlight. I was born to love. Kiss your tears away, banish all your fears. Fill the world with joy. I am woman of the earth, spreading love and joy, fun and laughter. Woman of the earth, making miracles forever after. Loving, caring, working, sharing, teaching, singing, mothering. See my loving glow in a blushing flower. Watch my dreams take wings over sky so blue. I will save the earth and its every glory. I will teach my child every golden story. I am woman of the earth, spreading love and joy, fun and laughter. Woman of the earth, making miracles forever after. Loving, caring, working, sharing, teaching, singing, mothering. Woman of the earth. I am woman of the woman of the earth. I am woman of the woman of the
We wish to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of this land. We acknowledge the waterways, the land, the sky, and all who inhabit this country. To hundreds of different nations across this continent, we pay our respects to their elders, present and future. We would like to extend that respect to the Aboriginal people as we acknowledge their continuing culture and the contribution they make to the life of this country.
Hi everyone! Ladies and gentlemen, a warm and green afternoon to everyone, and welcome to the biggest advocacy-driven beauty pageant in the country. This is Miss Earth Australia 2022. I am Pheobe Soegiono, and I am your current Miss Earth Australia and your host for today. First, I would like to thank our sponsor this afternoon, Megaworld International and Hyatt Regency Sydney, for bringing in the next batch of our national finalists to discuss their advocacies about the environment. And of course, Megaworld International is headed by the ever-energetic Miss Liz Angeles, the Vice President for Asia and Pacific 3. Thank you very much. Also, to all viewers who are watching us live in our official Miss Earth Australia Facebook and YouTube page, I would like to thank you wherever you are for watching us right now. So just please continue sharing your messages, reactions, and feedback in the comment section throughout this afternoon. As Mother Earth continues to heal in this sad pandemic, it brings us joy that despite this, the Miss Earth Australia advocacies continues and is still alive and active. So last week, we had our second set of finalists discuss wildlife displacement and endangered species. This afternoon, a new set of national finalists will be here for the environmental talk, and their topic is marine biodiversity. So our marine life is the largest ecosystem on Earth, with 80% of the planet's biodiversity coming from it. Marine biodiversity plays a critical role in all three pillars of sustainability: economic, social, and environmental. They provide us with food, oxygen, and millions of jobs. They also control erosion. They help regulate climate and atmospheric gases and create habitats for species. And there are many more things our wonderful marine life provides, but I will let the girls get into that. We all hope that you are all doing well this lovely afternoon as we meet our 5 gorgeous and beautiful national finalists. So the first finalist is Sophia Sartreska.
Hi, I'm Sophia and I'm 25 years old, and my advocacy this year will be, it's called Triple E. It's environmental efficiency and education, where I'm planning to bring 3 aspects, which is government, society, and businesses together to work on environment. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Sophia. And next up, we have Kelsey Press.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kelsey. I am a New South Wales finalist, and my advocacy is opening people's eyes to climate change through education and science, because I believe that you can't control what you don't understand. And also, I want to implement science and some novel, exciting scientific strategies to help combat climate change. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Kelsey. We have a scientist in the group. That is amazing. And next up, we have Hamaya Wijayawira.
Hi everyone, my name is Hamaya Wijayawira. I'm 19 years old and I'm coming to you from Melbourne, Victoria. My advocacy this year focuses on the healthcare environment and that sector, because as a nursing student, I feel like being firsthand in the healthcare field, I see all the wastage and all the pollution that comes from it. So I'm using my platform to do what I can towards that sector. But as an overall, I'm trying to focus on strive for sustainability, which focus to help everyone to be sustainable in their everyday lives. Thank you.
That is lovely. Thank you, Hamaya. Next up, we have Zena Skewthorpe-Dowell.
Hi, my name is Zena Skewthorpe-Dowell. Marine conservation is my advocacy because 85% of Australians live within 50 kilometres of our coastlines. And I feel like as Australians, we have a due diligence to look after our oceans and protect beautiful Australia, because I feel like the oceans is what makes Australia such a beautiful place to live.
Yes, I completely agree. Thank you so much, Zena. And last but not least, we have JC Molina.
Hello everyone, I'm Tracy Molina from New South Wales. My advocacy is to reduce and eliminate plastic pollution, and I'm using Miss Australia and all my platforms to spread awareness and educate people about how to reduce, especially, and reuse all the materials. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your introductions, everyone. I'm so glad to be chatting with you for the next. So without further ado, let's get into it. Everyone on the screen, amazing. So I'm just going to start, we're talking about marine biodiversity here. I'm just going to start with a simple, just open question. Whoever can jump in first is welcome, and then we'll just go from there. So my first question is, why is marine biodiversity so important to us?
I can start.
Yes.
Because as you've mentioned, there is 80% of all species, they live in the ocean, and unfortunately the majority of the ocean is not explored. So we need to focus on exploring more and maybe finding out more species that can be helping us to save the planet, or that can be like helping to save the food chain of the marine life. So that's why it's important.
Yeah.
Can I jump
Thank
in
you
there?
so much. Yeah.
So the Earth is mostly water, right? Like, not only do the oceans cover 70% of Earth, but they also hold the most biological diversity. So most of the and major groups of animals and plants are only found in the sea. And just an interesting thing, like, the sea holds so much diversity. For example, us as humans are more similar to sea urchins than sea urchins are to mollusks. So it just shows that there's a vast majority of biodiversity in the ocean. And as Sophia said, we're just at the tip of the iceberg trying to understand it. There's so much we still need to explore.
Yeah, you're right. We've only discovered like a little small amount of the ocean's animals, like the ocean sea creatures. So we don't know what's out there in the ocean, you know. So we do have to take care of it. Sorry, did I interrupt someone?
Yeah. Another thing that I find really amazing is marine plants, for example, seagrass, they can actually supply over like 50% of oxygen. And also, not only do they supply oxygen, but they can also they control other natural gases as well. So I find that quite amazing, and they're such an amazing plant, and we should be using them more for climate change.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with all of you, and especially because having healthy oceans helps, like, to have a healthy functioning of the planet and the well-being of humanity. We have too many benefits from the ocean, not only obviously the animals, but as well we get benefits from tourism. So the tourism from coral reefs, they take lots of billions of dollars per year. What else? Like, even for studies, and Kelsey as a scientist probably could give more information. But we also use pathogen genes from marine organisms to be applied in medicine and human health. So it's a win-win. We need to protect our oceans. We need to protect our animals in order to also protect humanity.
Yeah. I'll just also add on, like everyone else has also said, they do have large benefits, whether it be to income to us and whether it's supplying food, like we still get food sources from them. We still have to take a look at, because our oxygen, also 50% of the atmospheric oxygen also is provided from them. So it's not just about what's on land, but what's also happening in our marine life that we have to look into, because there is a lot of benefits to us as well.
Yes, I agree. If you don't mind, can you add on to that? So what are the reasons for the decline in marine life? Like, why are marine animals getting endangered? I'll start with Hamaya, if you can start with that.
Yep. So we have the issues of overfishing, because, like, as I said, it is a source of income. So people obviously have to source fish. So overfishing, pollution, whether it be through our plastics, our single-use plastics, and things like our washing of the clothes, which release microfibers into waters and polluting through that. Species loss due to endangered species being wiped off due to our overfishing as well. Habitat degradation because of, like, again, the overfishing, the different types of techniques that really do destroy ecosystems and do destroy the little habitats that are within our marine life as well.
Yeah, thank you for that. Kelsey?
Okay, so I'll add on to that. So you mentioned overfishing and plastic. So then other risks to biodiversity would obviously or could be like land runoff. So from farms nearby, the nitrogen getting into the water, which is also causing the coral bleaching, as well as sediment runoff. And I think bycatch is a very serious effect of biodiversity. Bycatch is just when they pop the nets in and they catch a whole bunch of fish, which they're not actually, or they're not the target fish. So turtles and dolphins are subject to that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. And JC?
Yeah, well, you guys already like mentioned most of them. I mean, there's also like plastic pollution, marine debris, habitat loss, ocean acidification as well, climate change. The temperature of the water is changing, and it's amazing. I remember I went to the Great Barrier Reef in November last year, and it was so hot. Like it was normal, like water, like taking like the normal water that I use when I take a shower. I went into the ocean, and it was the same temperature. So if it was like kind of warm for me, I can imagine how warm it is for the animal down there, and also for the corals. So it was shocking. And lately, doing this research and being so involved with Miss Earth, I've been finding lots of organizations and documentaries. And there's one that actually impacts me the most, and I recommend to all of you and all of the audience to watch it. It's called Seaspiracy, and it talks about bycatch that Kelsey was talking, and the importance of taking care of the oceans.
Yeah. I've actually, I saw that documentary everywhere, Seaspiracy. I haven't watched it yet because my friend actually watched it, and she actually got really scared and just really sad. She fully turned the way she eats, and now she's like a pescatarian. Oh, sorry, not pescatarian. I think she's full vegan now. So yeah, I think it really opens your eyes, and it's it's just really scary to think that us humans are the one that's actually impacting this earth. It's not the animals. If we just leave them alone, if we just if we do sustainable fishing, we can really just help and just leave the ecosystem to how it was meant to be. So yeah, thank you for that, JC, for that documentary. So Zena.
Well, everyone's mentioned overfishing and bycatch, which I find is such an important topic to speak about, but also invasive species, especially here in Australia. You have to imagine we have species of marine life that has adapted over hundreds of years to live where we live. And for one reason or another species has been involved, and it takes over, and that can be so detrimental to our own native species because we should be looking after them more. And I'm pretty proud to be Australian because we do have so many biodiversity laws. You cannot import, you have to be very careful. So that's another thing. Sometimes it's marine life against marine life, but that's still something we as humans can prevent.
Yeah, thank you for that, Zena. And Sophia?
Yeah, I think girls already mentioned many threats, and I absolutely agree with all of them. But I think Zena mentioned that we're in Australia, and tourism in Australia is very developed, and it gives a lot of money to the economy. But unfortunately, people don't think about sustainable tourism. So I think we also need to pay a lot of attention to bring tourism industry into sustainable way, because Great Barrier Reef had two massive stresses in 2017 and 2018 because of the cyclone. and like 1/3 got affected massively because of that. And many people don't know, but actually Great Barrier Reef it's a protector from the big waves. So I think, yeah, taking care of the tourism in sustainable way and protective way, not closing it for the tourism, but just maybe track the record of how many people go in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Before I go to my next question, there is a question from Aaron Josephine Cobb. What are the effects of overexploitation in marine biodiversity? Anyone like to answer that question?
Well, I can just one answer. It would be like species extinction. If we are holding the place, their habitat, we are also damaging our species. Or the one what else? The ocean as well. They also mentioned the temperature, and with bait catch, also like the things that I've learned is like if we are killing the animals that are on the top of the life chain, everything is just not in balance. So if we are affecting sharks and fishes, then it comes to the ones that are in the next level, and it becomes worse and worse until they get extinct. That's not balanced.
I agree. I feel like every little thing in our ecosystem plays a big part, whether big or small, it does play a role. And when one gets affected, the whole thing can get affected. So yes. Oh, Brittany Dixon, Miss South Australia 2020. Hello. Her question is, do you think the benefits of shark nets outweigh the harm they cause to marine life? Would Hamaya like to answer that question?
Yeah, sure. So do the benefits of shark nets outweigh the harm that they cause to marine life? I think they do, because I think the whole purpose is to, keep the sharks out. But then again, those nets are discriminatory in the sense that they do block off other things, and it does affect the natural course or the natural way that a marine ecosystem would be thriving in. So it does really affect the other organisms living within that ecosystem as well. It's not just the sharks as well. It has the impacts onto the other animals within that environment.
So could I add to that as well? One of the major issues in marine biodiversity is ghost fishing, and where I guess the shark nets aren't necessarily ghost fishing as in the definition, but they're still animals, turtles, dolphins, they all get stuck in it, and that's a reason for a lot of marine biodiversity loss. So yeah, I don't think it outweighs the benefits, and it also doesn't really keep the sharks. Well, the sharks breed when they are smaller. Doesn't really keep the sharks out, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and another thing I'd like to add as well is we have to start thinking about why are these sharks coming so close to our shores? They're coming close to our shores because of climate change, the changes of temperature in our water, and several other reasons. So we're trying to take sharks away from their natural environment by putting these nets up, but we're not actually addressing the cause of why they're coming close to shores. We're stealing their food. We're making their own home uncomfortable. No wonder they're trying to come closer.
Thank you so much for that answer, Zena. Would anyone else like to answer that question before I ask mine? Nope, all J, all good. So I know that Sophia was actually mentioning, I forgot who was mentioning about overfishing. I think all of you guys ghost fishing, you're right. I think it was Kelsey mentioning about ghost fishing. So a lot of the items that are in the ocean, most of it's actually from fishing, like nets or, just like fishing lines, fishing nets, and that's really choking out animals. It's killing our sea creatures. So what are some things that we can do to prevent overfishing and ghost fishing?
I have like a few points. Sorry.
You go.
Yeah. All right. Well, one good option would be like to choose safe and sustainable seafood choices. I know there are some brands that they have the label, like they protect marine or they support like studies for marine organizations. Yeah, that would be one option.
Okay, thank you for that.
I think can I add? I think efficiency is important here because there are so much fish caught and so many of marine species are caught by overfishing and bycatch, but then they're just thrown away. So I think people just need to think about their consumption in a better way, and also they need to think what they are consuming, because there are products like, for example, tuna, and many type of cod. They are getting to extinction, so their types are endangered now. So maybe instead of eating this type of fish, you can show your that you're taking care of those species and just switch to another type of fish, or for example shrimps, because when you do like catch them, you also catch any many other species. So maybe you can switch to mussels, which are like grown in farms, which is more sustainable way. So because my advocacy is about consumption and efficiency, I think that may help.
Mm, mm. So I want to ask you a question as well, Sophia. Since that is your advocacy, do you know like how fishing techniques can be improved to to reduce wastage and to reduce pollution and damage to our waters?
The fishing techniques,
Like
I'm not sure about techniques, but maybe there should be more governance around.
maybe maybe I'm asking the question difficultly, like, or I'm asking it wrong. Like, do you know how the government? That's a better question. Do you know how the government can regulate people to fish less, or is there a different way in which there will not be overfishing, or there will be only specific people that are able to fish? You know how there's ghost fishing in the waters, and people are just willy nilly just throwing their lines in the sea. Yeah, is there another way in which we can make it more strict, more laws that are more strict that can, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like people shouldn't be fishing for fun,
Mm,
for pleasure. I don't think there are so many things to do in our world, but they still choose to hunt and fish. So license shouldn't be given to people just for fishing, and maybe there should be limits set towards how much fish you can um, catch and sell. Because when you catch a lot and then you could throw in the away, that's a bit of unbalanced.
right.
So yeah, just set the limits and maybe restrict general public from doing it, because it's not fun. It's nature.
So
Yeah.
basically, another way we could look at it is just through sustainable fishing, which just means that we're leaving enough fish in the ocean and protecting the habitats and the threatened species. And I think there's three important steps of sustainable fishing, which is number one, are there enough fish in the ocean while I'm fishing? Two is to minimize the environmental impact when we're fishing. And then three, there has to be effective fishery management.
Yeah, I also think like there should be also policies and like more strong laws about fishing, but for big companies, because I think they are the ones that impact the most. Because when they go deep sea fishing, nobody can actually watch what they're doing. But when they come back to shore, I think they could implement other policies to see how much fishes are they catching, are they bringing to shore. I don't know, probably cameras, I don't know, to review their practices, because I think it's quite difficult to supervise everything that's happening in the ocean, especially deep ocean, when they're doing all the bait catch, and they're actually damaging a lot, like the part of the sea that nobody is looking after. So I think like fighting for more strong policies and law enforcement about deep sea fishing, it would be also a good solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adding on top of that, so like with the tighter regulations and limiting the number, like you said, the techniques, there are different types of techniques, like the active demersal fishing techniques, where they drag, or it's called like trawling, where they get a net and they drag it across the seafloor, collecting whatever they can, and which damages every lot, and then by catching through that net as well, or active pelagic fishing, which is like doing it in the open areas where you can catch more than you need. So it's like, I think there's like stats like 1 kilo of prawns that you'd fish for would also catch 9 kilos of something that you don't even need, which would just lead to more injured organisms and stuff that we weren't really intending for. And on top of that, just having more like protected areas where people just aren't allowed to fish in, where like the ecosystems can be left alone to like thrive with less noise pollution from like ships or less fisheries happening there. But yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Also, there is a sustainable method called aquaculture, which is also known as aqua farming. Do you guys think that it's a more sustainable way to harvest fish from our oceans?
So with aquaculture, I think it has positive and negative side effects. I think the positive side effects is that it takes a lot of pressure off the animals and it prevents them from being overexploited. But the negative side effects are that sometimes they can escape and become an invasive species. And then potentially there's nothing to kill the aquaculture.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Kelsey. And as we are all talking about taking care of the environment, it is very timely that our sponsor this afternoon, Megaworld International, have done activities that preserves the environment and create awareness with regards to wildlife biodiversity. And whoever will win this year, Miss Earth Australia, will be able to fly to the Philippines, to the home of Miss Earth International. And they will have a chance to visit the famous tropical paradise islands in the Philippines, the Boracay Islands. So one of the key projects of Megaworld International is also located in the Paradise Islands, Boracay New Coast. This is a master planned township that preserves the natural beauty of Boracay and at the same time builds a sustainable community in the island. Aside from using environmentally friendly construction materials and techniques, Megaworld International has so many environmental initiatives in this project that foster long-term preservation to the island. And to name a few, the township project has its own treatment plant to prevent the waste discharge to the sea, and it also uses the recycled water from the plant itself to irrigate the gardens within the community. The township also has solar-powered streetlights and is serviced by electric vehicles. And they have also done a multiple special cleanup drive along the island, 3 kilometers on the famous coastline, and have preserved hundreds of full-grown trees in the community, which includes some trees listed as endangered species. So, well, our next Miss Earth Australia, who may be in this group right now, will be lucky to visit this green community in the future. So, yeah, now back to our talk. Thank you so much, Kelsey, for your comment about aqua farming. I didn't really think about the fish escaping, you know, I always thought that it was, everything was positive about that, but, you know, you never know what could happen.
They could eat the scarce fish as well,
Yeah.
which is, yeah.
Yeah. Would anyone else like to add to that question about aquaculture before we move on? No? Okay. Well, back to, there's a question by Kiko Guruna. Have you watched the documentary entitled Seaspiracy on Netflix? If yes, what's your reaction about the documentary? Yeah, we actually spoke about it, but I didn't ask if anyone has watched it. Has anyone watched it?
Yeah, I mean, like, I recommended it. I would like to answer his question. I think it's a really eye-opening documentary. And also I can identify with my process also being as Miss Australia contestant for 2022, because I started to focus. Like, I know we love to take care about the environment, and sometimes there's too much that we can do that it's a little bit hard to focus on how to do it. And I always taught like to recycle, to reduce our carbon footprint, but sometimes we don't even know, and we don't even know how to. And I started with my advocacy about reducing and eliminating plastic pollution, and I relate with this documentary as this the guy who's filming started doing the same things as us, like changing our plastic straws for reusable ones, and then supporting organizations, and then his passion and his willingness to help more. It's taking him to do this documentary and to share it with the world, like what is really happening, what it's how's the damage being out there in the ocean. So I think this is just the beginning as well, um, for us, like at least for me, for my advocacy, like my passion is growing. So I hope like all the people that watch it as well, they take the things that they help them the most to change a little things on their life. And yeah, I hope like it is a must to watch documentary.
Yes, thank you for that, JC. Yeah, Seaspiracy is definitely an eye-opening documentary. They really share some facts and just some images that you cannot unsee. So my question to everyone is, like, what are some other critical messages and techniques that we can deliver to the public, like Seaspiracy did, that can help improve the understanding of marine conservation problems?
I would like to say more education.
Oh yeah,
So I find during school, I recently graduated only a few years ago, but we spoke about climate change a lot. We spoke about lots of other things, but we never spoke about anything marine related. We never spoke about marine biodiversity, marine conservation. I found it was very focused on the land. I also find that because obviously we don't inhabit the sea, I personally don't live in a fishing village, so we kind of don't think about the ocean as much as we should. Like, yeah, we take our little beach trips every Saturday in the summer, but I find if we were able to bring proper legislation to educate younger children, I find we would be in a world of better. The more people could actually find out that chucking your water bottle away in the ocean is actually going to really affect us in the long run in years to come. So more education is what I'd say.
I can I? Yeah, I think cleaning the beach can be one of the effective ways to eliminate those pollutions getting into the water. Because we're so lucky to have Australian beaches so clean. We barely have anything compared to Europe, America, and other places. Those coastal walks, if you do them, they're like full of rubbish. So and Asia is probably the worst. So I think just helping to clean the beach so this waste doesn't go inside may help. Definitely doesn't have that big scale. Firstly, we need to start from eliminating buying those plastic things, so there is no consumption of plastic, so there is no waste of plastic. But yeah, at least helping out so it doesn't go in.
Thank you for that, Sophia. Yep, JC?
Yeah, I have a few solutions listed. Like I would like to share, like to propose. As I mentioned before, safe and like to choose safe and sustainable seafood choices. Less use plastic products. I know it's really hard. If you can start reducing the use of plastic, start doing that. As Sophia mentioned, take care of the beach. Don't purchase items that exploit marine life. It's very important. And also, if you can also support organizations that actually are working to protect the ocean. So pair with them, follow them probably on Instagram, and yeah, just try and be like like in contact with the information that also helps you to support other organizations that help the ocean and other environmental purposes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Would anyone else like to chime into that before I ask a question from Brittany? No? Okay. I've got another question from Brittany Dixon. It says, for 6 months, the beautiful island of Boracay in the Philippines was closed to tourists to allow time for the island and ocean to recover. Do you think more nations should take similar approaches to support marine biodiversity? I'll get Kelsey to answer that one, and then Humaya.
Sure. So yeah, definitely. Marine biodiversity is really important. It gives, as Brittany said, it gives the fish time to recover. A lot of fish, and I'm going to use, so I'm not quite sure of the place you mentioned, but I know in Ningaloo, they have a marine protected area there. And there's a lot of manta rays that come. And manta rays are pretty rare and not a lot is known about them. But they come to this reef, I think, once a year to breed. And so it's so important to have these protected areas for these animals so that we can ensure the continued existence of the species. And it's a place, it's a sanctuary for them to breed, for them to feed. So I think we should implement more. I think that's a good way to combat the damage we've done through climate change.
Thank you, Kelsey. Yep.
Should I take over? Yep.
Yeah.
So I think definitely they should have more closed off sections, because it's just like building on the other idea I had with the protected areas. It just creates a more safer environment with like reduced noise pollution, and then the undisturbed areas from overfishing, and then like tourist attractions would be less, and then so it would be more of a peaceful breeding ground for fishes. It would just allow the environment to thrive, because I think it was like 21% of biodiversity had improved after a section was closed off for like a section was protected, and it allowed the environment and the organisms to build on without being disturbed. And I think that's the takeaway from having a more closed off area, that it allows for time to breed.
Can I add on? I absolutely agree that when people don't go to those areas, they have time to recover from human hands. But we also need to think realistically, and people doing tourism because it's money, because it's business. So completely eliminating those activities, people will not do because it's money, and we need to keep running the economy. So I think it's all about balance. We can't completely close it, and maybe we need to like keep the price at the very high rate. If it's like endangered or very special, we need to make the supply very, very targeted to like the special people if they're willing to pay this money. But trying to restrict it to the limited amount of people who can visit it, and balance it in a better way, because tourism will not go. It's a big part of the economy.
Yeah, and also Sophia mentioned earlier about sustainable tourism. So I think that would be also a great idea. I went to the Great Barrier Reef in November, and I also went back 2 months ago. And I can actually, I really enjoy it because I did the same tour who takes you to see the Great Barrier Reef. And they only go to the same spot that is protected and it's specialized for tourism. So they take care of it. And actually, I can tell that the coral has been improving, because when I went back in November, I saw lots of bleaching. It was really sad. I have like in my bucket list. It was one of the things that I really wanted to do. And when I did it, I saw lots of coral. Why? It just broke my heart. Plus the temperature of the water. And then I came back 2 months ago, and I started like looking at some corals with more colors. And it was like it is actually helping because some of the money that the tourists pay to go and watch the tour, it also its focus in conserve also those areas. So I think sustainable tourism would be a good option, not to close it completely, but to keep the tourism working, but to protect all the funds and money also be focused on protecting the same area.
Thank you, JC. I have a question for you, Zena. Since we're on the topic of tourism, do you think the use of tourism itself benefits our marine ecosystems, or is it the other way around? You can say yes or no and just give your reason why. Oh, Zena?
Okay. I think there's definitely a way to handle it. I do believe tourism, especially for some countries, especially if you're a tiny island, I believe tourism will be needed, and you could not shut off tourism just to protect marine life. But I do believe maybe more policies and more rules should be brought into place and actually punish people that do wrong, because I do know, for example, being Indigenous Australian, we had many Indigenous monuments that were getting disgraced by tourists that just thought they were doing something funny, posting an Instagram post. And I feel like same with the Great Barrier Reef, people pay to see it, but then they'd chuck their rubbish overboard or they'd do things like that. So I believe if we could improve tourism and just make people more liable for their actions, it would be a happy medium.
That was a great answer. Thank you. Go ahead.
I think tourism is important. I think it's good, and I think it brings money, especially for the Great Barrier Reef. When I saw the topic, I did a bit of research on it, and I saw that they're encouraging tourism. But what they do is the tour guides take the tourists on routes that are minimum damage to the reef. So just no damage to the reef. And then the people get to see the effects of what's actually happening. And I think once you see what's happening, you change. You change your mindset, you change how you react to things. So I think, it definitely has its bad sides. And it's definitely not always good. But I think sometimes if it's managed well and regulated well, tourism's important. And it can bring revenue and money into the country to support the reef and stuff as well.
Yeah, just to add on to Cassie's point, I think if we can take the part of the revenue to sustain and maintain those places in a better way, that may help. Like just increasing the cost, increasing like the price for it, but still pay maintenance and just so we can make sure that everything is safe.
Yeah. Thank you, Sophia, for that. Would anyone else like to chime in? Nope. Okay. I have a question from Rachel. She looks familiar. I think she's my sister. My question is, what are some everyday practices that you have or that you will implement to protect the marine life? Great question, Rachel.
Shall I go?
Yeah, anyone, yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if everyone knows this, but like a lot of our fashion is like made out of synthetic fibers such as nylon, polyester, recycled plastics, acrylics, and they're all very dangerous fibers that when put into the washing, they shed and end up in our water system and in our air as well. So approximately 60% of all clothing is made out of synthetic fibers, and they shed their fibers. So a thing that I have taken on, an everyday practice, is like making sure I check the label before I buy something to make sure it's not made out of these plastic type textiles, to make sure that when I am washing that these aren't going to be made out of fabrics that will end up in our waterways, that do end up within our organisms, such as our fish, which do get indigested. And like things about when through the fast fashion industry, when clothes are made, like the dyes, they really do pollute the rivers and our oceans as well. So making sure we find out where our clothes come from to make sure it isn't having these really big, drastic, harmful effects when we're consuming as well can also, like, it's our everyday practices like this that can have a very large impact in our environment as well, like our marine life.
Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, my advocacy last year was sustainability in fashion, so I completely agree with what you're saying. It's hard to shop from brands that, let's be real, it is hard to shop from brands that are, you know, ethical, have sustainable materials, because that's like that's a very minor group compared to all the fashion brands. But I think the most important thing is you do little steps instead of just going 100%, because you will not last once you if you just go all out, you will not last. So just little steps, just micro changes for, you know, a better improvement. Yeah. So thank you for that, Maya.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I would also like to add to choose what you eat as well. It's a big thing. I'm vegetarian, but if you can choose and make some balance on your nutrition, it would be really good. About marine, yeah, like try to reduce a little bit the consumption of fish, or Sophia mentioned as well, other kind of marine products like sea products, and yeah, take care of the water as well. The time that you shower, when you wash your hands, with what chemicals you wash your clothes, because everything goes back to the ocean. Take care of yourself. So those are small things that you can implement in your day to day. Look after what you eat and take care of water.
Yes, thank you for that, JC. Oh wow, we're actually already at 52 minutes. I did not even realize that. I had a really good chat with you guys. So I think what we're going to do now is for everyone to do their closing statements. Is it okay if we start with Hamaya?
Yeah. Okay. So we have all these wonderful candidates, and everyone makes such great points. So it will be great for you to vote for me. I am focusing on my healthcare system journey and making sure I spread and educate people about how they can be sustainable in their everyday lives. So I appreciate you joining this live stream to listen to us all. And yes, your vote for me was very appreciated. And yeah, I hope to see you on Coronation Day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hamaya, and the lovely Sophia.
Thank you everyone for watching us today. It was really quick. I can't imagine like we could talk for another hours, I think, on that topic. It was quite interesting, and I actually got so much knowledge from today's talk. Thank you everyone. And yeah, I'll see you on Coronation Day.
Yes, I definitely learned a lot as well from all of you guys. Thank you so much for all your efforts, and thank you, Sophia. So, JC, would you like to say a closing statement?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I'm Jason Molina from New South Wales. The online voting is open as well. The coronation is going to be in less than 10 days, so we are super excited. Thank you to all our sponsors as well. And finally, I would like to share again my advocacy. It's to reduce and eliminate plastics, reduce plastic pollution, and I'm doing my best to educate myself about these environmental topics more and more, so I can share all my knowledge, all my passion with all of you and with our. So thank you so much. I'll see you soon.
Yes, thank you so much, JC. Second and last, we have Kelsey.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for today. I really did enjoy that. Very informative. And the reason I joined this competition was because I saw this as an amazing opportunity and a platform just to educate about climate change. Because as I said earlier, I believe when people truly understand the dire urgency of the matter, we will change our ways. So I just want to show you that science is fun and it works hand in hand with nature, and we can use it to tackle climate change.
Thank you so much, lovely Kelsey. And last but definitely not least, the beautiful Zena. It's not working there? We'll give it a couple more seconds. If not, I think we'll wrap that up. Zena, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect.
I'm honored to be here. I ask for people to vote for me and support me through this journey as I am putting my heart into this. I'd like to thank all the sponsors for putting on this wonderful talk, and obviously to everyone that's helping us save Mother Earth. So thank you to everyone.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, you beautiful ladies, for this talk. You guys have really taught me a lot in this hour. So thank you, and I cannot wait to see you girls next week. I would also like to thank the sponsor for this afternoon, Megaworld International, and Liz Angeles, Vice President for Asia and the Pacific 3. I would like to thank this Hyatt Regency, another sponsor for this afternoon. They are the official resident partner of Miss Earth Australia 2022. I would like to thank Stargazer Productions, the license holder and owner of Miss Earth Australia, headed by our lovely National Director, Julieta De Leon. Thank you so much for all our viewers for watching. Thank you for your reactions, your comments, and your questions. It really helped me, and it was really good to hear the girls answer just a variety of different questions about our topic. I would like to also invite everyone for the next batch of our environmental talk tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m., same channel, Facebook and YouTube, and to also remind everyone to vote with the online voting. So whichever lovely lady you feel like stands out, or you feel like you believe that advocacy is strong and can help us with and can compete in Miss Earth, don't forget to vote for them. And yeah, I would just like to say thank you so much again for watching. I am Pheobe Soegiono, your Miss Earth Australia 2021. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.